Hold on, we'll run down to your house real quick.
We are live now. Thank you.
We'll just salivate while we watch you, and then it'll be a little less calories that we take in.
Richard, just heard from Sean that we are live on Facebook, but haven't seen Buddy pop up yet. So if we could give it a
Okay.
few more minutes.
All right, well, I'll give it a call after presentations to see if there's anybody there. Come on, buddy.
Mhm. My clock says we have 2 minutes anyway.
Who's the moderator in this call? Who's got the screen? Is that you, Linda, or Sean, you holding that?
Sean,
I'm holding it.
Sean Hill, SK is
Okay,
doing all that.
okay, great.
And I did just realize, I don't know why my laptop says 5:31, but my desktop says 5:29, so I apologize for starting early. I'm gonna have to contact Apple.
Good luck. Buddy said he was going to attend, Linda?
He did say that he was going to attend. Yes.
Okay, great.
But I do have 5:30, so if we have a quorum, we're good
Okay.
on a quorum. So let's.
Okay, we'll
Go ahead.
we have a quorum. We've got 3 out of 5. Hopefully Buddy shows up. There he is. There's Buddy. All right, Buddy, can you hear us? Buddy, you want to unmute and see if we can do a check to make sure we're online? There he is. Can you hear us, Buddy? Is that your dog, Buddy? We can hear you if it is.
He's unmuted, and that was his dog, so I'm assuming he can hear us.
Get your volume up, buddy.
Here's something now.
Okay, there you go. You can hear us, buddy?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, we've got a quorum here. We've got 4 out of 5. Robert John couldn't make it tonight, so I was asked to chair the meeting and having a quorum. I hereby call the meeting to order. First order of business is to approve the minutes of March 4th. Do we have any discussion on the March 4th minutes? Hearing no comments or discussion, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 4th?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Do you have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, Mr. Rhodes seconds. Somebody made the motion. Mr. Rhodes seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand. Aye. 2. Mr. Erickson, Mr. Brown, do you approve? Well, I guess Mr. Erickson, Eric, you approve? You're up mute, Eric. Can't hear you. Can't see hand raised or anything.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Eric, you're muted.
Can you hear him?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
I was not at that meeting, so I did not vote for the minutes.
Okay. Permission granted. Okay, having I believe we have a majority here approving the minutes. Therefore, they are approved. The second order of business today is a preliminary review of a detached house, compact and carriage house from 1503 Paris Avenue, also known as R110-010-000-136.
I'm having trouble hearing.
You having a hard time hearing me?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
Richard, we are. I think that you have to really just face straight at your
Okay,
mic.
okay.
That's, there,
I
that's,
second that motion.
So, I haven't had that problem before. Okay, second order of business, preliminary view of detached house, compact and carriage house for 1503 Paris Avenue, also known as R110-010-000-136B000. Owner Corey Post. At this point, I'd like to ask Ms. Bridges to give us a review of the proposal.
thank you. So this is the second time I think that we've seen this project. The property is at 1503 Paris Avenue. It's zone T4 Urban Center. And the applicant is proposing to subdivide the larger parcel, parcel 136B, and construct a new home on the northern portion of 1503 Paris Avenue. When we ran the project, the documents that have been presented through the code, the proposed development does conform with the required setbacks of the code. So that means the building setbacks are appropriate, the accessory structure there in the back, the garage in the back is appropriate, the parking that's being provided is appropriate. It all complies with code. The removal, this development will require the removal of a 36-inch live oak. That I did go through the tree mitigation ordinance and found that that's going to require 18 inches of tree plant back or a monetary amount, whichever can be accomplished. I have put here the feedback that you gave Mr. Post whenever the first time that we saw this. From the minutes of the previous meeting regarding this project, the commercial building should have more storefront elements incorporated into its design. At that point, we were looking at the existing business that is going to be on the south side and is imaged on this plan, but is not necessarily the subject of the plan that we're talking about today. We asked the applicant to screen commercial activities from neighboring properties. We asked the applicant to come back with a clear site plan that clearly shows his proposal. As I recall, his site plan before had a lot of information on it. And we asked that, he be more straightforward with us in exactly what he was asking us to do in this phase of the project. He was asked to provide screening for company vehicles, and he did present to us a single family structure, but the first time around it was a one-story structure, and he was informed that T4 Urban Center requires a minimum of 2 stories. So I think that's it as far as the zoning code and the proposal that's in front of us today. I'd be glad to answer any questions that board members have. Oh, and I also would remind you that our consultant, our town architect is here, Bill Harris, to help us out with this.
Thank you, Linda. Do we have any questions for Linda from board members?
Yeah, Linda, this is Buddy. I got a question. The live oak, there's one in the middle that looks like it's partially decayed. Is that the one they're removing, or one of the ones around the side?
No, that's the one. we're
It's the
removing.
one that in the back that's decayed.
Yeah, okay, got you.
Eric, did you have your hand up?
Eric, unmute yourself, please. Thank you.
Do that to cut down on background noise. But my question is the existing business. I want to know what kind of business that is. And I don't see the screening devices from these plans. How are we going to screen that business from the residential community? And as well as the work trucks. I see there's 4 spaces for work trucks on the commercial and 2 spaces for the residential. I guess it's on-street parking for the residential.
And I would, perhaps, Mr. Chairman, this would be a good time, unless there is some other specific question to staff. I think those questions would best be answered by the applicant, and perhaps it's time to let them do a presentation.
Linda, I did have a question. What is the reason that this is brought to the review board? What's the exception? What is the reason that we're reviewing it?
Okay. The subdivision in itself is a bit unorthodox. You can see if you look at it in the right direction, we're creating a flag lot. And so that's discouraged by the code. It's not disallowed, but it is discouraged. And so staff wanted to get the picture in front of the larger community before that decision was made.
Linda, this goes along with the previous question. The way I see it now with a flag lot, we'll have a residence, a garage associated with that residence, and a pre-existing commercial business on part of that property too. Is that the way I see the application now?
Again, that is the way I see the application. Again, maybe we could toss that question and get clarification from the owner.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Any other questions of Linda before we go to the presentation from Ms. Post? Okay, Corey, go ahead, please.
To answer the questions, we basically took any changes to the small commercial location. We're originally, when we turned in, we had drawn a addition on the front of the building. And we're making some changes to the commercial location. We've hence taken that off the table. So the front elevation, none of that will change on the actual commercial building. So we kind of took that off the table to help cover some of the cost of obviously going 2-story versus the single-story home we had. We all know construction's more than a little expensive right now. The And I'm trying to remember all your questions. Anybody want to shoot another one at me? Eric, does that answer your question? I know,
Yeah, I asked about the screening, how well the commercial building is going to be screened from the residential portion and including the vehicle screening.
the vehicles would be obviously parked in the back. The garage is not something that we're going to be turning in now. I just know it's something that we would like to do at some point in the future. And I figured it would make more sense to show you the whole site plan and everything we figure we're going to do with it than turn in for just the house and then come back later and say, okay, now we want to add a garage. So the garage location is kind of what we're turning in for at this time, but not actually a garage plan. I know sometimes it's easier just to show you everything than to show you a whole bunch of things and bits and pieces. As far as the box truck, that will be parked behind the commercial location behind the fence. So that'll be screened by the fencing in the very rear of the property.
So the two trucks that are sitting there now will be inside the fence?
Yeah, we're actually going to one truck. One of them, we just have to.
We have to unload
We have to unload it,
and then sell it.
and then it's being sold. So we'll have the one that has the lettering on it, and that'll be parked inside the fence. On a rare occasion, it might actually be out, for loading or unloading or anything else. But for the majority of the time, it'll be parked inside the fence.
Could you give me a clarification of where the fence will be? Looking at your plan now, excuse me, I've got them on the floor. Is the fence going down between what is what's going to be like lot 1 and lot 2, or is it going all the way around the lot 2, the flat? Where's the fence? And I'm sorry, but without
Fence is currently in place, right?
You're talking about the one that's there between your property and the adjacent property where you're parking trucks?
That fence will stay. There's already fence on the very rear of the property. So on the 15th Street side, between us and the neighbor there, that fence has been existing. I believe it's actually that neighbor's fence. And then we'll be fencing from our commercial building up to the corner and then down between lot 1 and the new home. So we will separate the existing house from the new house and the commercial building via fence. We just don't want to tear down any fences or move any fences till we obviously get a permit and have permission. So
Will the new garage be part of the new house?
it will be eventually. Yeah.
Got you.
So basically, we're just trying to cut it into 2 lots, the existing house that's here. And then the rest would be considered 1 lot. I guess technically at some point it could be cut into 2 or actually 3 parcels. But at this point, we just don't really have any desire to cut it into 3. So we're planning on keeping it as just 2 parcels, the existing house and then the new house with the garage and then the business.
So you're looking at parking your commercial vehicles on the new parcel behind the new house and in the corner behind the new house and behind your existing work shed or whatever it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we have 43 feet between the commercial building and where the garage would start. And then that would put it about 100 and that would put the closest part of the truck about 100 feet from Paris Avenue.
So the access for those trucks is going to be between your existing house and the workspace, the work commercial
we-
space?
We would have two ways in. We would have the shared ingress egress that's shown on the plat. And then
Yeah,
also, obviously, we have room. You can see the two parking pads I put in on lot 2. There's a driveway that comes in off Paris Avenue. That would also be able to drive to the back. I would assume at some point when someone finally does develop the 16th Street end of this development, there'll be some sort of alley involved also. But I don't know if there's any plans from Mr. Heister, who is the owner, of doing anything at any point in the future. So we just plan on having the two ways in and out. So beside the new home, and then also the shared ingress egress between the commercial building and the residence that's already existing on lot 1. We've already taken care of water and sewer. We wrote a check for 20 some odd $1,000 to get water and sewer run the 10 feet. So we do have the 2 separate water meters and sewer meters for both locations. That's already been done. Which I guess doesn't matter to y'all, but it's something that Linda would need to have for subdividing it at some point.
I have a question about the left side elevation. It's probably the least pleasing view of your new home. And my question is, why the near windowless first floor? What is along that area?
Kitchen closets. There's kitchen, closet, and then a master bedroom that has doors going out the back. That side is actually screened pretty heavily from anywhere by the existing house.
Is the fence gonna run right beside the new house?
Yeah, it'll be 5 property lines, so 5 feet.
5 feet, okay.
If anybody drove by the site, we have an old steel wrought iron gate that faces Paris Avenue, 8-9 foot tall. That's actually on lot number 2, to give you an idea. So there's going to be 12, 13 feet between the 2 houses, and I think code is 5 feet off the property line. So.
Bill Harris, did you have a comment? I saw you raising a hand. Is that a shear wall or?
I was raising my hand. I figured I would give you my house comments, and then you guys could dig in, maybe all at once, and then you can kind of mull through them if you like.
Good. That'll be fine.
Does it make
That'll be
sense?
fine. Fine with me.
Okay. So I wanted to make sure the site discussion was, kind of done, and then anyway. So
But I do have one other comment on the site discussion. Why are we not doing it in a more clean manner where it's just squared off rather than a flag parcel? It seems like you could get the same result with a better future use of that property as far as marketability without having that flag. So that's a question I have.
We're not planning on keeping the existing house. We plan on selling it to obviously help us pay for the new house. So that's kind of part of what we've got to trade, but obviously we're still running a business here. So it just makes sense to keep the pieces that we want and sell the piece that we don't.
Okay. All right, Mr. Harris.
thanks. So about the flag parcel, the negative connotation about a flag is that you only get kind of an easement or a way back to a property behind another. But with structures facing both streets, it kind of takes away what the fear would be about a flag parcel. So I thought I'd throw that in there. But anyway, about the house itself, I had 3 items that I thought were easy fixes that should probably be handled, and I had a couple that were suggestions. Right, so the ones that I thought were easy to handle and needed to be done were on the front elevation. There's columns on the first floor of the porch. There's not a column above one of them. The spacing is a little
Yeah,
little
I see
hinky.
that.
The spacing is a little hinky, but I wasn't going to fight you on that. But I think that you have to have a column over a column, though, right? So
I agree. I missed that.
yeah, I think that was one. The second was, unless there's some great reason, you're running the band board, the belt line kind of around the building. I think it's really hurting that front elevation. I think that the kind of elegant, tall, gable shape in the front, there's no reason to cut it in half. I would let that go and seem as tall as it can. I think it's going to help all the proportions everywhere. So I just save the money on that band board.
Perfect.
And not do that. And then the third was where Eric was going, I think, was that left side. I understand that you're not going to see much of it. And you did put a window up front, which is doing what we'll often do in neighborhoods as well when they're that tight. The front window, the front corner is kind of the must. I thought if you could get a window or two, even if they were high up on that left side, it'd be a plus. You could do maybe a couple or 3 over the bed in the master on the bed wall. If you didn't like that, I did think of one other that would be more of a suggestion, was your master bath is locked inside while your closet is on the outside wall. I would mirror those and get a window in my bathroom for ventilation and for light 1,000 times over, rather than have the bathroom inside. But that's up to you. I know we don't talk about plan. The ones that I thought were suggestions were shutters on the porch would be huge, just to get some color and some more interest up there. I don't know that you have to do them on the. You don't have to do them on the gable or the 3s. I think just the ones on the porch would be great. And the other suggestion was, again, on the back left, where that second story meets the first story and the roof kind of runs into it. I know it's not a corner, but I might add a fake. I say fake, it'd be a real piece of trim. I may add a flat piece of trim just to continue that line vertically down to the band board at the bottom. But that was all I had. Otherwise, I think the masting's right. I think it's good for Paris Avenue. Windows are a decent proportion. Trim work looks fine. Column design looked fine. As a suggestion, maybe you do a 6-inch trim on top of the windows and 4-inch on the sides like you have. You have 4-inch all around. That was it.
That didn't hurt too bad. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
We'll see what we could fit in there as far as windows go. And we'll also look into flip-flopping that bathroom. I appreciate that suggestion, because that probably would be nice. I know we have planned on putting our bed up against the back wall of that room. So we could probably fit a window in the back there too. We tried to put as many windows in this thing as we possibly could think about affording.
I think if you did the ones over the bed, you'd be great. If you didn't do that, I think one in the bathroom would also do it. And that piece of trim I was talking about.
And you're just talking regular transom windows.
It could be, or just a square like a 20, like a 2024 or a 2026, something that would be, way up over. Unless you have a super tall bed, it'd be way up over your headboard.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it could just match that top sash of the double hung window.
Yeah,
So it's
makes
out.
Yeah.
All right,
Any
we'll see
questions
what we
from
can-
Paris? Anything else regarding
That's all I
my
had.
in-house design?
That's all I had.
Okay, any other discussion on from the members of the board? Questions, concerns?
I must say I'm still confused by the site plan as to where the existing house is. I guess if I flip over to the existing survey, I can see where the footprint is of that. But
I tried to do that transparent so you could actually fold one on top of the other and see through it. I know there was some confusion with the site plan last time, so I drove to Bluffton and have them print the existing and new where you can actually lay them on top of each other and see through it.
but so that is the case though. That is the existing house that's on
Correct.
15th Street. Okay.
I just figured it would be easier because there's, several things going on, so I could show you what's existing and then what's coming new. Instead of trying to do it in a bunch of different colors or different, with so much paper, so much writing on one piece of paper.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Mr. Chairman, this is Linda. It does bring up, now that we've had all this discussion and I understand more about the plan and exactly what the intentions are, I am concerned, Corey, on the existing structure, the existing home, excuse me. Is there going to be an opportunity for off-street parking on that property, or the two places that you have imaged are sort of half and half, half on public property and half on private property? Will that be the opportunity for parking for whoever owns that home?
For the existing home, there's those two
Yeah.
spots, and then obviously, Paris Avenue, which
Sure.
I know people on Paris Avenue have gotten approved with no parking, but we obviously have more than two cars, so we park two here and then, one or two on Paris Avenue, so.
And my only reason for bringing it up is that is something that whenever it comes up, we talk about it. It's not unreasonable, but I did want to make certain that everyone on the board realized that that's what we were going to create. That's what we're going to be doing. Corey is right. There's plenty of parking on Paris Avenue to accommodate the residences and the structures that we're creating here. Just needed to say it out loud.
Yeah, we actually scaled back a little bit from what we were originally planning to make sure we had the ability to, fit a driveway coming in off Paris. I'm not sure that's ideal. I think Bill probably would agree with me that driveways pulling in and off Paris Avenue is probably not near as nice as actually parking on Paris Avenue, especially being that we have to build to the front property line or all the way up to it. I mean, it's kind of a, I guess, parking towards your back, but we do have the area cut out for it, so it's there.
The property, it's always been a little confusing there with the sidewalk and the the way, as we all know, that your property actually extends out into what would be considered by many people to be public property where it's not.
It's all kind of a mess up here.
Yeah,
But,
it is.
I met with Joe DeVito earlier this week. I met with Van and Linda a few weeks back. And I know they're doing a plan to redo Paris Avenue. So Joe and I were going over that the other day, exactly what the town's thinking. And we actually walked the property. We did line of sight, making sure that the sidewalk eventually, because basically the sidewalk's on our property by 22 feet right now. And my understanding is the eventual plan will be that sidewalk from the other side of 15th Street to the other side of 16th Street will all eventually line up in a straight line. I know Joe was talking about doing some bike paths and things, and I've tried not to take the sidewalk out until we actually construct, because obviously people use it every day. I mean, I see people hit their head every single day in that tree in our front yard, every day. And I hit it every fourth or fifth day. So I'm probably not much better. But eventually, obviously, that would have to come out and get off our property just on a liability reason. But you know, for now, until we got everything approved, we've just left it. But I know there's a plan for all that to actually get straightened out outside of kind of what I figure would be my responsibility.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could just chime in here a little bit on that. Basically, what the town will do, because the intersection of the old intersection of West Paris Avenue and East Paris Avenue interrupted the regularity of this block. And what we did, what we will do, will be straightening that out, completing the block in the north-south line. As Corey said, I've looked at the surveys. At the end of the day, we will step off of the sidewalk to cross 15th Street, come up the front. We will install sidewalk in front of this block and in front of these two structures that are going to face Paris Avenue and line up directly with the sidewalk that is at 16th Street and Anchor Park. It does line up.
Great. Is the Anchor Park in that whole 16th Street parcel, did that deeding to the developer there go through? Is that still on hold?
No, that the deeding went through, but there is a reservation. The Anchor Park itself, the primary amenity at the park stayed with the town.
Okay. All right. I just looking at the continuity there. The and a little bit of a sore subject. It was a bone of contention at the last meeting that construction vehicles and you know other vehicles that are back parked on the that vacant lot that's you know at that meeting a year and a half ago, they're all going to be moved to an off property, and it seems like we're back accumulating all that stuff again. So just wanted to get an idea where that was going and how that relates to this application. I guess that was for either Jerry or Corey.
Okay. We are working on it. Obviously for us, the storage of the garage would help us tremendously with putting things away, if that makes sense. The second truck is basically used just for overflow. Just because we don't have enough space, we have rented some off-site space. But obviously that fills up to, as I guess every business runs into. So we have a few personal things parked over there. I think we have a small boat parked over there that obviously could come inside the fence. We have a flatbed trailer that sometimes sits there, sometimes doesn't, and then the 2 box trucks, out of which we'll be down to 1 box truck once we free up a little bit of storage space here. So we're working on it. It's better than what it was. It's not as good as what I would like for it to be, but obviously we've been kind of working on this plan now for about a year, I think, give or take. I think actually we did in person last time we came, so that was pre-COVID. So we're just kind of in that situation where obviously we need the storage to get rid of and be able to put things outside of temporary storage, which is what we're kind of having to do now. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
Well, curious. I mean, it's still, you know, I know the residents of, a lot of the residents of Port Royal would like to see it cleaned up. So that's a continuing concern. And I know you've heard it from others, so.
Yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 people that sing Kangaroo about once a month to see us.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I have a motion.
Could I have one more quick question of Ms. Linda Bridges, please? So once again, could you tell us what you're asking of us? If this, what are you asking for us to approve in this preliminary approval
Okay.
that warrants this meeting?
Okay, first and foremost, the house, the placement and the details, which I would acknowledge Mr. Harris's input on that. And then secondly, the creation of an L-shaped lot, which basically a flag lot on Paris Avenue. So the subdivision, an approval for the subdivision and an approval for the house.
And I would be more than willing if you guys didn't want to come back and look at this again, if you wanted to make any kind of motion, including Bill Harris's notes, it might just save us another meeting at some point in the future, if y'all are okay with that.
I'm okay with that. I have a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the designs submitted by the applicant, including the site plan, the elevations, and for this preliminary review. And then I also want to incorporate what the town architect said. We do need another column on the second floor. We need another window on the left elevation, preferably a bathroom window. And to make sure that there's screening of the vehicles and that they're parked inside the fence.
Do I have a second on that motion?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Having a second, is there any further discussion on the motion?
Clarification, Mr. Chairman. Does the motion bring the project back to you for any more review, or does the motion allow staff, i.e. the town architect, to work out the details with the applicant?
It allows the town architect and the town planning commission to work out the details with the applicant.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any further discussion? Okay, calling for a vote on the motion. Mr. Erickson,
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Rhodes,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Beasley, aye. Motion is passed. I apologize. We never asked if there are any Facebook comments or any other public comments. We didn't have any, did we, Linda?
No, you didn't have any.
Okay.
Thanks.
Is there any other business to be had? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion to adjourn.
Okay. There's a motion to adjourn. All those raise your hand, saying aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.